everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today we are talking about Kimetsu no Yaiba, episode 23, Hashira Meeting. Before we begin though, I do want to give a big shout out to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter, namely at Kisasan98, at Sombra Haipu, at 070157709, at The Chillas N1, at Shonen OG, and at JNTheo21. Thanks for sharing last week's video, you guys. It is appreciated, and if you too would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Kimetsu no Yaiba video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet, and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in next week's video. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. Now, thank goodness I don't read comments anymore because I did see the like to dislike ratio on my last video, and some of y'all had some opinions, or at least that's what I gather from the dislike bar. That's fine. Everybody has, we're not gonna agree every time, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And hopefully you guys don't hate me for my opinions, but we can agree to disagree. I totally get it. That's more than okay. And happily, that lame-ass plot from last week didn't take up much time here, did it? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah, I was really happy that this whole trial thing didn't last more than, I believe, 6 minutes, which is, about maybe like the first fourth of the episode, so I can happily take that on the chin. Like, if it only took up another 6 minutes of this week's episode, I'm happy. I'm okay with that. I'm happy it's over. And it wasn't like it was a total lost cause. I was sort of annoyed because it ended exactly the way I said it was going to. So it's like, okay, if it was gonna be like that anyway, why did we waste time last week? But we're not here to talk about last week. We're here to talk about this week. And this week, it didn't take up much time at all. Honestly, I thought it was pretty decently handled. It did end the exact way I thought it was, so I guess you can argue that it's predictable, but I'm kind of just glad it's over and out of the way. And despite how I may feel about this story beat, I have to say that the Hashira are friggin' awesome. Save Snake Boy and wannabe Bakugo over there, but like everybody else is awesome. I friggin' love the other Hashira. I think they're so fun and colorful and cool and just vibrant and full of life, these characters. I want to know more about them, and I even found myself chuckling along with them when Tanjiro's like, yeah, I'm gonna take out Muzan, and I'm gonna prove to everybody that me and Nezuko are good demon slayers, we're gonna fix things. And when the other characters started laughing, I genuinely found myself like actually out loud chuckling, because that's just like, I'm laughing with my boy, like the idea that Tanjiro thinks he can take down Muzan on his own, like, or not on his own, but just with him and Nezuko. Like, that idea is obviously preposterous, so I like that, like, that was able to make me laugh. But at the same time, as I'm laughing, the Hashira who are cool and that I like are able to laugh along with me, and I was like, and it just further endeared me to that cast, like these characters. Like, I was just like, man, I like these guys. I really like these guys. Again, I may not like the story beat that they enter the story with, but the characters themselves, I have nothing but good things to say about them. Well, again, except for Snake Boy and wannabe Bakugo. Yeah, those characters can still go jump off a bridge. I don't care about them. They suck. In fact, I was really bummed that Tanjiro didn't get to headbutt what's his name, but we will get to that. The other thing that I think the opening scene did really well was give us a glimpse into the mind of Nezuko, where she's still able to speak like a human. On the outside she can't, but on the inside, in her mind, she's still there. Like, she's still able to talk, which I thought was, or not talk, but able to think, which I thought was interesting. She doesn't just think in like puppy dog sounds, like she actually has thoughts and opinions. And it really cements that Urokodake really went to town on Nezuko's training, like really just hammered in, all humans are your family, protect humans, protect your family. I really dug that, and I liked how peaceful and serene it was. The music echoed the big song from episode, 19, like the big moment. The music was like a very soft version of it, especially when we see the mom and dad characters, and I was like, oh, this is really nice. I like this is really peaceful. And I feel like it's really appropriate for Nezuko, since she always seems to be like off in La La Land, like her head's in the clouds whenever like you see her. She's just sort of gazing off into nothing. And it's not that she's empty-minded, it's that her perception is that she's at home with her family. So of course she's happy. She's just happy to watch them being happy. And I think it just made me more endeared to Nezuko. I don't know if one could possibly be more endeared to Nezuko. She's just endearing by nature. But yeah, it actually, that scene actually did cement that. I'm like, man, Nezuko is great. As if I needed that cemented, but it was good. I liked it. But like I said earlier, I can only wish in my heart of hearts that the master actually allowed Tanjiro to headbutt that friggin' gray-haired dude. That guy sucks. Like, and like my only saving grace is that he at least handled it with some level of respect. Like when he was proven wrong, he was like, oh, well, damn. Like he wasn't like, oh, like maybe she blah blah blah. Like I'm sure he probably is thinking like, well, maybe it's a trick or blah blah blah, but he doesn't say it out loud. He's proven wrong and he shuts up accordingly, which I appreciated. But Snake Boy, I believe, kind of kept mouthing off like to himself, like mumbling like, that dude can go jump off a bridge. Gray-haired dude, I feel like maybe over time. No, he stabbed Nezuko. No, that guy can jump off a bridge too. He stabbed Nezuko. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. That guy is immediately garbage for doing so. I really wanted Tanjiro to headbutt the crap out of him, especially when he said it. But even then, I was just like, that's a little disrespectful, my boy. I can't. Like they were having a meeting. You ran in. Like, it was over, my boy. So even I was like, I wanted him to headbutt him. But at the same time, it was disrespectful. So I was like, you do have to respect the Hashira, my boy. Like that's how it is. And I loved the space cadet character, who is easily my favorite of the Hashira, like flicking him with the pebbles and knocking him out to be like, Tanjiro, dude, disrespectful, man. We're trying to have a meeting here. You're really getting in the way. And I thought that was really sweet. And I also, or not really sweet, I thought that was really funny. And I also thought the helpers, those two like demon slayers, like with the masks, they were friggin' hilarious. I love them. Like, those two are great. And I thought they were like just their, I don't want to say slapstick, because not necessarily slapstick, but just their character-based humor, really solid, very funny, very like anime. Like I know it's an anime and it's obviously animated, but very like body language heavy humor, very animated humor, very zany. And I thought that was really fun. And it's, I think, purposely in there so that you don't quite catch what the master says right off the bat, because it took me a sec, because he said it, I was like, haha, huh? Like, it took me a second when the master says like, hey, give Tamayo my regards, by the way. And I was like, ha 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 ha, huh? Like, even Tanjiro's like, yeah, okay, what? Like, oh damn, the master knows who Tamayo is? Like, that changes things. How? I mean, I guess of course he would know her, but like, damn, that's interesting. And you know what else is interesting? The Butterfly Mansion. My goodness, this place is pretty. I would totally live here. The Butterfly Mansion is dope. Actually, I probably wouldn't live here because I probably wouldn't be badass enough to live here, but like still, if I was badass enough to live here, I totally would. And Tsuyuri continues to be mysterious as hell. I don't know enough about this character to really have an opinion. I almost wasn't even going to mention her, but I felt like people would be kind of annoyed if I didn't. I think she's fun. I think Tsuyuri's really fun. I don't know enough about her yet, as I said, to really have a solid opinion, but I did want to mention her very quickly here, just to say, just to have her mentioned. And mainly so I can get talking about her out of the way so that I could say, my boys! My boys are reunited! My poor boys, Zenitsu and Inosuke. Oh my goodness. Zenitsu, I was very, very worried about, because Zenitsu, I thought, was going to be in really rough shape, but he's, back to normal. My boy's just fine. I mean, he's not just fine. He's recovering from almost being turned into a spider, but, he's okay. And that also makes me think that the other characters who were, like, spiderized and just, like, stump baby head things, I guess they're also going to recover okay, which does answer my question from a while ago. But again, we're talking about this week's episode, not another week's episode, so I'm not going to go any further than that. But I do appreciate that Zenitsu is being cured slowly over time. That does tell me that maybe he's going to be out of commission for the next little bit, but that's fine since we don't really have many episodes left this season anyway. And I'm sure by the time we get another season, which I am positive this show's getting another season, I'm sure Zenitsu will be back fully functioning, back to being awesome again. Or, back to falling asleep and then being awesome again. And then there's my other good boy, my Inosuke, my son. He's all beat up to the point where, like, he I knew at some point this dude was gonna ruin his voice box from screaming, because he screams at the top of his lungs. And shoutouts to my boy, by the way. Yoshitsugu Matsuoka is a legend. He's the seiyuu for Inosuke. And my boy, I feel bad because I've seen people say like, oh, he only has one voice. This man, like, playing an injured Inosuke, I didn't even realize it was Inosuke for a second. I thought we were gonna take off the boar mask and it was gonna be somebody else. So I was like, dang, Matsuoka going in. But yeah, it just broke my heart seeing Zenitsu and Inosuke so beat up, and especially Inosuke apologizing for being too weak. It's like, oh my boy, you were as tough as you possibly could be, and nobody could be anything but proud of you. Same with Zenitsu, who also went in during his big fight, and same with Tanjiro, same with Nezuko. Everybody gave it 110%. I don't care what the Hashiras say. They were strong, and I will have no arguments to the contrary. I did have a question though. A question I was kind of pondering as I was getting all emotional seeing the trio reunited was, what happened to Murata? Where did Murata end up? We don't really address it. Like, Tanjiro asks, but it's never really brought up again. I was like, oh yeah, Murata. I mean, like, I didn't get to know Murata as well as I know the trio, so I wasn't like brokenhearted that he wasn't there. And I was bummed. I would like to know where he is. But the realization that I was like, oh, Murata didn't show up, and I thought about what would happen, or what my reaction would be if only Zenitsu was there or only Inosuke was there. And it made me realize I really, really don't want the trio to split up. And I don't think I would enjoy the show as much if the trio didn't remain together. I'm okay with them like splitting up in an arc, like where it's like, okay, you go that way, I go this way. But then like having them reunite between arcs and stuff like that. I feel like the trio needs to stay together at this point. They're too, like, I'm too connected to them as a unit, like to see them separate or to have Tanjiro like go off on his own or something. I hope that the trio stays together. I'd still enjoy the show otherwise. It's just, you know me, I'm weird about certain things, and I really want the trio to stick together. But on that note, everybody, that's basically going to be all my thoughts on this week's episode. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this week's episode a B. It was a good time. I had a good time with this episode. It was fun. But before I go, as always, I have to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier: Calvin Atkinson, Crowbar of Irony, Dominic, Urza, Ginkotaku, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Mirth Mouser, Nye, Omner Garamond, Cell, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Somastan, Steven, Tristan, and Veridin. Thanks so much for your continued support over on Patreon, everybody, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then by all means go ahead and check out the first link in the description, check out our Patreon page, and see all the cool rewards you can get over there, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive Discord. But on that note, everybody, that is going to be a video, so I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, you've probably been on the internet long enough to know what to do already, so I ain't going to tell you, but I will say that it is appreciated, and if you're feeling stressed out today, you go have yourself a warm cup of tea, and I will talk to you all again real soon.